Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back for another film review. Today, we are
Mhm.
going to take a look at Fountain of Youth. This is an Apple TV original, and I can't believe that
It don't make no
IMDb
sense, man.
is giving this a
It don't make no sense.
5.7, dude. Come on.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
A
That's absurd,
5.7, dude. I disagree with that
bro.
totally.
This
You
is
know,
an all-star cast
oh my
of
goodness, forget
top
about it.
top people in Hollywood are in this movie,
Mhm.
and it don't make no sense. First of all, how they get what is okay? When I looked at the credits first, I saw this a preview for this, and I was like, oh, this is good. I like these people,
Mhm.
and then I'm looking at the credits. I'm like, wait a minute. These are all people that could do other stuff, like big things. Like,
Mhm.
why is this not on in the theaters? Why is this on Apple TV? I'm like, this had to been like some kind of high reaching, high finance budget for this movie because it was big.
It
The
looked like
movie's
it.
not tiny.
No.
They were in China, they were
Mhm.
in Egypt,
They were in
they were in England,
Thailand, they were in
they're in Thailand.
Austria, they were in
Yeah, they're
London.
in a couple
Come on.
places that look like they spent some money. The ship thing alone,
Yeah.
that costs money. That whole set because they went underwater. That costs money. This
Mhm.
movie there was a fairly big budget for this movie. And the for the cast, you had to pay a little money for John, Natalie Portman. Like they cost money. They're not free.
Tucci costs money too, Tucci.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody in the main cast.
Mhm.
It was Dominique. What's the name? Or Domino?
Who,
What's the
which
dude's
one?
name?
Which
Dom Hall
one?
Gleason. Whatever his name is, Gleason.
Yes.
The ginger dude. Right?
Right,
Everybody
yep, yep,
costs
yep.
money.
Mhm. Yeah,
Everybody
that's
costs
true.
money.
You got John, Natalie, Gonzalez, Alonzo. I mean,
Alonso costs
dude,
money.
Michael Epps. Who knew he was still in the film? You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is not Michael Epps, the one we know, Mike Epps.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
the
It's
other Mike Epps.
Mike
You know
Epps.
what I'm
It's
saying?
Michael
Yeah,
Epps.
exactly.
It's a
So I was
difference.
just
It's a
like,
difference.
I said, this is crazy. So you know how we talk about like when we're watching a
Mhm.
film, directors aren't good at this, but some directors are really great at this. What are you going to give us
Mhm.
in the first 10 minutes? How are you going
Yeah,
to grab us in and say, sit your behind down and
it
finish
was
watching
fun
this
and
film?
we got fun and adventure in the first 10 minutes. Fun and
Dude,
adventure.
you
I
know,
was like, sign me up for more of this. Let's go.
I watched this film about 45 minutes ago. And
Mhm.
after my meetings, I I
Fair. That's fair.
basically put everything down and then just started watching
Mhm.
this, and I watched it from start to end. This joint
Mhm.
was, man, it's I don't want to sound like I'm bashing like the American film industry, but
I mean, it deserves a little bashing.
yeah, but
Just a
it's
couple
like,
bashings.
I mean, how visually beautiful this film was. Like we always say,
It's
when you're in
the
Europe, everything
location,
looks
man.
beautiful. I mean, dude, it looked beautiful in Bangkok. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the colors, like the green, the browns, the colors are
Yeah,
out there. And
exactly.
that's the thing. The movie looks good. Like it
Yeah.
looks like a big budget Hollywood movie. So I'm pretty sure they had funding. They spent a ton of money on it, and they couldn't get distribution. They're like, screw it, Apple TV. I mean, Netflix, Apple TV, whatever. Like one of the streaming services. Let's just go. They paid 100, 200 million, whatever for it. And it's like throw it on Apple TV. Call it a day because
You think
this movie looks like it belonged in the theater, and based on the cast, that would make sense for why this would belong in the theater.
do
Just the
you
cast alone
you
and the
said that to
director.
me. Yep, you text that to me like this joint should have been in the theater, and I'm like, I totally agree with that. Totally.
Yeah,
You know.
I
Um
would have watched it in the theater opening weekend. I would have watched this,
yeah, I'm trying to
and
see if
I
there's a
don't.
budget for
I
this.
get people. This is the thing. People dislike Guy Ritchie, and I don't get that at all. That would make no sense to me because Guy Ritchie's a great director.
Yeah.
And he can do basic stuff, or he can do my favorite, which is the British gangster movie. But
Mhm.
like, regardless, he's a good director. There, when you're watching this movie, there's no lulls of like, what's going on? They're gonna do this thing here. They're gonna walk and talk. There's none of that. Movie just goes. It's just a smooth thing. You forget how long it is, and you can knock this out in one setting. Like that's how good it was. And the thing is too, the writing, it there's some magical parts of this movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's this magical part, but like
Mhm.
the writing's fairly grounded and a lot of stuff makes sense.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like things are fairly straightforward and they make sense. And you're not just saying stupid things just to say it. Or there's not and another thing that I really liked about this movie was there's no stupid people.
No.
Everybody from the little kid on to the villain is all smart people. Everybody's smart
Yep.
and they're clearly competent. And as I said before, I said a bunch of times, anybody who's competent, sign me up for that. I want that. I want more of that. Any
Mhm.
movie that's got a competent lead, please put me on the mailing list. Let me get me a way to give you more money. All right, I want that. More of that, please.
Do you
Holy
think
crap, man.
do you think that did you see any CGI elements in this movie?
Mhm. For sure, like the Egypt stuff, they had to have a little bit of CGI down there.
Yeah. Well,
And
like
then,
yeah, definitely underneath. What about
yeah,
like the helicopter coming over the pyramids? Because this was filmed in Egypt.
yeah, they
Mhm.
filmed there. I don't know how they pull
Yeah.
that off because you can't really do these things. So
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, maybe the helicopter is CGI, but like, um, there's a lot of like the stuff with the boats when they're in the middle of is it the Atlantic or whatever? I
North
forgot where it
Atlantic.
was.
Yeah.
North Atlantic. Yeah,
Mhm.
that the stuff with the boats, they had to have some CGI with that because that looked crazy.
Yeah.
And like
Mhm.
there was big set pieces. That's what I'm saying. This doesn't feel like an Apple movie, or I would say an Apple movie. I should say streaming movie. This
Yeah.
doesn't feel like
Because it
because the
definitely
set pieces are
feels and
big.
looks like an Apple movie. It feels
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
should
like
have been
it's
in the
clean.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying,
Mhm.
like, it doesn't feel like this was supposed to be on streaming. I felt like this was supposed to be in a theater, and they had issues, and it was like, oh, we'll just stream, will take it. And that's what
Okay.
because like the cast is too big to fit in the streaming thing. It don't make any sense. It does not.
I want to know. So now I am interested in knowing how much this
Because I don't
film
know.
cost, you know.
Listen, it has to been 150, 200 million movie easily.
Oh, they're saying it was $180 million.
Yes,
It looks
yes,
like $180 million.
yes,
Hmm.
dude. Just okay. From the cast was like $100 million right there.
Listen,
But
how you
at least
to get
$80 million. John costs money.
mhm,
Eliza costs money.
she
Everybody
costs
costs
money.
money, man.
She costs money, man.
Everybody costs. You know what I'm saying? Like you're starting in a couple million for each of these people, right? Just
Mhm,
starting. And so like
mhm,
just the budget alone for the actors to do like it's gonna be high.
yeah.
But the action was extensive. The action was really good. They did a high speed chase. There was a Bangkok was their high speed chase. Like they did a crazy chase. They were cutting through stuff.
Well, the
That
first 10 minutes they did sort of like when he was in that like really nice sports car,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
they
Well, I'm
also
like,
did another one like on the streets. They
yeah, they
did like
did.
3 or 4 car
There's a
chase
couple
scenes. Yeah.
high speed
Yeah,
chases.
right. That's
There's a
money.
couple of them, right?
Hmm.
The one on the scooter that was fairly extensive because
Hmm.
it went a long time. And they cut through the city, they cut through buildings, did a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
And then they're shooting stuff. It was a lot. All right, I'll put it like that. It was a lot for a movie. That cost this much money. They spent the money well.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially the Egypt stuff. The Egypt stuff looks like, oh, they spent money here.
Yeah,
It definitely
because
looks like they spent money.
so the Fountain of Youth is it's basically standard. It's the Fountain of Youth. Everything that we know about the Fountain of Youth, that's what these like
Yeah,
two archaeologists or whatever they were, that's what they were looking for.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's so weird because when Owen Carter, I think that's his name, Owen Carter, like when he was the billionaire who was funding this, I was like, it's more
Mhm.
to him than just like, oh,
Oh
I'm
yeah, oh,
dying.
100%.
You know, there's just more
A
to
hundred
him than
percent.
that. And the other thing is this. None of it felt like I mean the story, how they were trying
Mhm.
to get to the Fountain of Youth, the sort of puzzles that were put in place to find a Fountain of Youth, the way
Yeah.
that they recoded and recoded and recoded the message and like
Yeah.
spread this over 7 continents or whatever inside of pictures,
Mhm.
inside of old, dirty
Yeah, yeah.
Bibles and everything else. That was
I
kind
was
of
like
cool, right?
Indiana Jones type
Hmm.
stuff, but I love that. It's
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. You're right. It's Laura Croft.
Hmm.
Because you're talking offline. It's like it's a Tomb Raider kind of
Yeah. A
thing.
little bit of One Piece
Indiana Jones.
too.
It had a
Luffy
little
and
One
One
Piece too,
Piece.
but like
You
it
know what
was
I'm saying?
fun.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, it definitely has that vibe of it could be a franchise. Like, I hope it does well on Apple TV
Ooh, I'm
so
glad
that
you
they're
brought
like,
that
"We'll
up.
make another one."
I'm glad you brought
I
that up,
hope they
dude.
make another one because I like the cast a lot,
Mhm.
and I would love to see more of this. Like, if they have more stories to tell. I
Dude,
really hope so.
I think they are coming back with this here. Now, okay, so you said okay, we had Tomb Raiders, we have One Piece, you
Mhm,
know, and you also
mhm.
have what's the other one? The other one you said?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
yeah. So all of those three, they were
Mhm.
all franchises. They had back-to-back movies. I mean, heck, One Piece, the anime series, has over 1,000 episodes. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
it's a very deep thing what's going on there, yeah.
We
A lot of
don't
people watch that.
Right, there is an anime Tomb Raider on Netflix as well that's brand new, but it's all right, But check this out.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we do
Mhm,
consumers of film, right?
mhm.
Do we need another franchise like this where, individuals are hunting for different
Well,
treasures and things like that? A franchise.
yes, because we need new blood. I'm tired of all this because everything's rehash, a
Mhm.
repeat of something that's been out for many years, decades, whatever. Tomb Raider's been out since the 90s.
Yeah.
Right? It's been I'm sorry. Indiana Jones came out in 83 or whatever, 82. I can't
Yeah.
remember a year. It's been a long time, all right? I like new blood and I like new content. There's like new concepts, new whatever. I like people trying to come up with new ways to get us to want to watch something.
Excuse me.
And if this is a new franchise, I like John. I'm a huge fan of his since The Office. Like
Excuse me.
I like him.
Hmm.
He's a good actor. He's got comedic timing, and he can do a little bit of action too. Because he has the I forgot what the series was. He has a
Oh,
spy
oh,
show.
right, right.
It's on
Yes.
Amazon.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of it. I can't remember
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but
I'm
yeah,
drawing a blank right now. I'm sorry,
yeah,
man.
I
I'm
saw a little
tired.
bit of it.
It's been a long weekend, but like he's good at action. I like that he's good. He's like a charming guy. He's like a regular type leading man, so he could do stuff. He could put him in different situations, and like more than anything else, I friggin' like that he's competent.
Yeah.
That guy is fighting. He's holding his own, fighting some people. He got guns. He got nothing. He's just all right. Whatever. This is what we doing now. I like that. I like that he's smart. He's not a stupid person, and everyone's got to hand him. This is what we're doing now. And he's just going, okay, like he's not doing that. He's solving the stuff on his own. He don't need your help.
No
This
crying
is more
babies.
of this,
Hmm.
more of this.
I think
And
they
Natalie
are
Portman
coming
and
out.
Tim together have I'm saying, but Natalie Portman and John have good chemistry.
They
They
do.
have
They
a good.
do.
They feel like they got stories to tell. You know what I'm saying? When you watch that, you're like, oh, they got stories to tell.
Hmm.
I wanted more. What happened here? What happened with your dad? What happened with it? Like that kind of thing. I'm more sign me up for this, please.
You,
I'm ready to go.
you know what? I think they are coming out with a sequel to this and maybe even make this because Apple TV, they have like franchises, but they don't have
Mhm.
universes. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
this will be a franchise because, like, at the end of the movie, she was like, what's next? You know?
I mean, they got to get people to watch it though. So enough people need to watch this joint. And I don't know what the numbers are for Apple TV subscribers if they have
Mhm.
enough people to justify $200 million movies, but I
They
mean,
they got
maybe
like
you
30
you tone
million,
it down.
something like that. They got over 30 million, dude. They've been ticking
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's going up, and I know
Mhm.
like the people who got the Apple blood, they're in it. It's in
Mhm.
their blood. They're down to the core with Apple. So, I mean, maybe they got the numbers and they're like, okay, let's just do another one of these. Because like if from Apple's perspective, they would have the resources and stuff like that to cover making a movie like that from scratch that's
Yep.
supposed to be here.
Mhm.
Because I don't care what anybody says, this movie was supposed to be in the theater. As far as I'm concerned, this was
Yeah,
supposed to be in the
I think
theater, and
so
then
too
Apple TV
because
bought it.
it looks so awesome. I was just like, why is
Mhm.
this? This looks like a 200, two
I
hundred
look
and
at
fifty
that
million
too,
dollar
man. I
movie.
look
And I'm
at it
like,
too. I'm like,
why
this
is it
don't
on
make no
streaming?
sense.
And what I thought was, I was like, well, of course it's on streaming because
Mhm.
Apple has like bank like that. Apple is worth $3 trillion, right? A
Mhm.
little over $3 trillion. They have
Yeah, and
dink
they're
like
throwing
that, you know.
resources at Apple TV to get
Yeah,
people to stay on for
exactly.
it. Yeah.
And like I told you before, right? If you remember, like
Mm,
when the Apple One plan first came out, and when Apple first came out with Apple TV,
mm.
their revenue from services was very low. It accounted for like maybe 5 or 7% of their total revenue. Now it's like
Mm.
30, 35%. You know, so
Yeah,
Apple
it's
TV
just
is
picking
doing
up.
well. All of these subscription services are doing well, and I say
Mhm,
this all the time. And I think I've said it before on this podcast, and you agreed to
mhm.
some um, degree that yo Apple TV, man. I mean, in terms of streaming services, giving you like butter films and butter TV series, no one is doing it better in terms of like what it looks like, the storyline, everything else.
Yeah, visually, it all
Yeah,
looks good visually.
yeah.
You just can't question
I
that.
told you, I only saw one film on Apple TV that I didn't like, and that was Ghosted.
Mhm.
And it wasn't because the film like just
Yeah,
didn't look
it
great.
wasn't looks, it was
It,
because it was a crap script. That's what
yeah,
that
it was the
was.
script was crazy, you know. And the thing that always like just draws me back to that film, which I really didn't like, is like
Mhm.
this spy running like she had poo poo pants. Come on, stop it, stop it. We can't be a spy running like it's, you know, like in this film, the way they were, you notice that Natalie Portman, right? She
Mhm.
really didn't, Charlotte, she really didn't run a lot, right? She ran a little bit,
Didn't
but
have
not a
to.
lot. Yes. But
She don't
John
need I
or
don't need to do
Luke,
that.
he was running, and I was like, he's not poo poo pants, but he needs to go to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Because he looks like he could be poo poo pants the way he was running. But yo, all of the fight
Mhm.
scenes, you know what was even
Fights are
more
good.
gorgeous? What was more gorgeous was when they were looking for the Fountain of Youth, and they went into, the pyramid, and how they were
Mhm.
trying to get to it, and how all of these things just all of a sudden appear, like when the stairs
Yeah,
came,
at
right?
the end.
Right?
Yeah, that was cool. That was
That was
very cool.
sick.
I was like so clap for that. That was
That
very
was
cool.
CGI, but dude, imagine like
Yeah,
you
no, it
know,
looked good.
check this out. What I'm doing right now is I'm using a couple different AI tools to,
Mhm.
and I'm just fooling around right now. So
Yeah.
remember, I was telling you that I was going to try and put an AI script together, and I did, and I've been perfecting
Mhm.
it, right? So I was like, well, let
Yeah.
me see if I can get the first or two episodes done in AI. So I've been using like
Mhm.
Runway and Leonardo and all these other sort of tools, right? Dude, what
Yeah.
they did, like for like, and it'd do everything, but then you may see some like glitches somewhere. You have to
Mhm.
continually prompt it until it's perfect. When you look at the
Mhm.
stairs that came out like that, and we all know that
Mhm.
was CGI, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Um, the way they all came together, the way they were all sized perfectly, I saw no hallucinations, no glitches, and all of that sort of stuff
Yeah.
when it came
No, no, it
to
was
that
smooth. The
specific scene,
CGI
right?
was smooth.
Yeah,
CGI was smooth and
real
it was
smooth.
minimal. It was like it didn't feel like you know what I'm saying? Like when you overdo the CGI, you're like, oh come on, man. The
Mhm.
CGI was very smooth and you didn't notice the CGI was there. Like
It's
there's
good.
parts of it like okay, there's no way to do that.
Mhm,
You have to unless you got $1 million for every 5 seconds of the film, you had help here for
mhm.
CGI something. So like there's aspects of it as CGI, but like it wasn't jarring. It didn't take you out of the moment of like, oh, that's ridiculous. Everything felt natural and grounded. Yeah, so as I'm saying, like
Mhm,
visually, everything felt like, oh, that could be a thing, or maybe that was real. Like you had that feeling of that, and
mhm.
I like that about the movie. Like that's the aspect of it. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like, oh, these guys are standing in the green room and they just put some. They're like, we're gonna put crap behind you. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be an elephant. Don't worry
Yeah.
about that.
Mhm.
Just stand here and look surprised. Like they didn't do that. It looks good. It looks very good.
The other reason why I think that they're going to develop this even more is because a couple things happen to suggest that there will be a sequel. One, at the end, they were
Mm-hmm.
basically like, she basically says, Charlotte said, like, what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is like, we had we had four really different
Mm-hmm.
groups that were vying for the same thing. You had, Luke and Charlotte, who was like trying to find it for this billionaire who was
Yeah.
corrupt, right? Then you had
Mm-hmm.
Interpol. Then you had
Yeah.
Esme. because she was doing it to protect the
And
actual fountain of youth.
the keepers
Right,
of the light
exactly.
thing.
Protectors or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And then you had those
Mhm.
like Taiwanese guys who were just like trying to like just get their painting back, who got Swiss
Yeah.
cheese, right? So
They got
now,
Swiss cheese,
right.
though.
So now you have the three groups that are they actually came together to defeat
Mhm.
all of these other people, right? Or
Yeah,
they
yeah.
came, I'm sorry, they came together to defeat the billionaire because they knew what the billionaire was trying to do. He was trying to get all this
Mhm.
power, right? So they all came
Yeah.
together. And then here's the third thing. When Esme, I think I'm saying the right name right, but when Esme and Luke, when they like, were doing the final scene, she was like, "Don't let me kill
Mhm.
you." And I'm just like paraphrasing. She was like, "But do everything you can to make me chase you," right? So
I was like,
basically
"Yo, man."
they got a little thing going on there, right? So I'm like, you
Right?
can't like,
I was like,
dude, you
what you want me
cannot
to do?
leave
What
the
am I
film
looking
like
for?"
that. You can't leave the film like that. And here's the
Bro.
other thing. You can't come
Yeah.
back 3 years later and say, "Hey, here's the sequel." You can't do that.
Nah, man, get on that, man. I
Yeah.
don't know how busy everybody is, but, get on that.
Yeah.
Get some time, man.
Do you
Get
think
on that.
that, let
Let's
me
go.
ask you this here. Do you think that Apple TV, again, Apple TV has excellent TV series, Foundation, Invasion,
Mhm.
Monarch, Ted Lasso, all this stuff, right? And then they have these
Yeah.
awesome movies, right? But they don't have like a serious, I don't know if I should call it a franchise because Foundation is sort of like a No, is that a franchise? You think that's a franchise?
I guess it's more a series, I
It's a
guess. I don't
series.
know.
Okay.
It's on
So
TV, yeah.
right. Okay. So do you think that Apple TV was like, hey, you know what? You know what we need? We need a
Mhm.
franchise. We need a universe. You think that was they were
Mhm.
thinking that and say, hey, you know what? Guy
I hope
Ritchie,
so.
let's
I
put it
hope that's why
together.
they bought
I
it
hope
because 'cause
so
they're gonna
too,
do something with it.
Yeah, and to give someone
Please do
$180
stuff with
million,
this.
dollars, I mean, it's just like you're
Yeah.
putting in
Listen,
you're
I don't
investing a
care
lot in
that
this person.
critics let's just say I don't care that critics or they're like, "Oh, it's not that great." I think it's great, and I
Yeah,
definitely
this
think
was
it's worth watching,
mhm,
and I would definitely watch more of whatever they got from these people.
yeah.
This core group of people. Guy Ritchie can direct it, or he can tell somebody else to direct it. Matthew
Hmm.
Vaughn, whoever you want, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This core group of actors, put them in more stuff. They were great together.
Those four. So you're basically talking about John, Natalie Portman, Gonzalez, and
Mhm.
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
I mean the black side characters too.
Oh yeah,
Throw in
well,
yeah,
they're gonna have the crew and also
yeah,
like the Interpol guy too, because it sounds like
yeah. That's
what
what I'm
it
saying. He was
sounds like
great
to me.
too.
What it sounds like to me is like now that the three of them are all together and with Stanley
Hmm.
Tucci sort of running things, right?
Hmm.
Maybe they can get together to sort of like find what they want to find, but also like take down people who are doing things corruptly
I
as
mean,
well.
the options are endless with what you can do with this thing. You
This
could be
is,
freedom
man.
fighters or revolutionaries, whatever you want to be called. That's
Yeah.
fine. You're just looking for diamonds and treasure. Sign me up for this, please. Let's go.
Everything about this film, every location. I mean, you just Keo, you just
Mhm.
can't get locations like that in North America. I think you can get locations like that
I
in
mean, it's true.
Mexico because like
Yeah,
Mexico is
Mexico. Yeah.
like has like really old things. In America
Mhm.
we knock down really old things unless the historic society comes along and say, "No, you can't knock that down. This is a treasure." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
but I
how it
mean,
is
it's
in
mostly
Canada.
modern stuff
What is it
here.
like in Canada?
You,
Is it more modern or
it's
what?
the same thing. It's the same thing. It's all
Mhm.
modern. Like you're right. Mexico, you could get like some kind of Aztec temple or something
Yeah.
like that. You could do that, but you can't. North America, there's nothing like that here, as far as I can see.
I love the drone
Hmm.
shots here in the Fountain of Youth. They were like
Hmm.
strategic, they were placed well, they weren't overused. You know how sometimes people overuse things? I mean, I can see if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
go
like
over
in
the
some sort
top.
of a military style movie or something like that. Yes, you would use
Hmm.
drones and things like that. But the drone shots were really cool. Man, everything just looked perfectly well. The story was not boring at all. I had a really great
Yeah.
time watching this. I think, other than there's one thing that I sometimes don't like about movies, and I know this is all just like, art, but I still don't
Hmm.
like, when sometimes they go into like, religious artifacts or like, one of the seven wonders of the world and then go in and like desecrate it. I can't, even though I know his art is not real, it's
Yeah,
fake. I just don't like that. Definitely with like the
yeah,
pyramids, you know what I'm saying? It's just like
yeah,
because they
yeah.
came into the pyramids, dude, and they just started like drilling. And the other thing is this: when they
Bro,
were in the
you can't do
library,
that, man. I'll
right?
tell you this right
Come
now.
on, come
You
on,
can't go to Egypt and do that.
come
You will
on,
have problems,
come
man.
on.
You'll
And
be
then
at the bottom of the jail, or you'll be killed immediately. You
and
can't do that.
then the other thing is like them having a shootout inside of the library. Come on,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah,
other than
yeah.
those two things,
Mhm.
I had no problems with it. So, you know,
It was a fun movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll watch it again with a big bag of popcorn. It was fun. We need more stuff like this, please.
we do.
Hollywood, let's go.
Because Hollywood is not producing,
They are
not like they
not.
should.
They are not.
We are talking about the Fountain of Youth. Keo, what are you going to rate the Fountain of Youth?
I was going back and forth about this, and I'm gonna give it a 9. I really like the first 4 minutes of this movie. I was like, "Where's this going? Oh, this is fun. The
Hmm.
jokes are good. There's good clips."
Yep.
I was like, "Okay, this is great. All right, sign me up." Yeah, I keep saying "sign me up" because I mean it.
Hmm.
Sign me up. I will give a stipend on my bank account to make more movies like this.
Right.
This is fun. We need more fun movies with good actors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm 100%. I give it 90%. 100% of 90%. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm also going to give it a 9 too because it was just a really fun movie. It's so weird because like a lot of times when you look at like just these big box American films, they're
Mhm.
kind of predictable, right? You know what you're getting. And it's just, and sometimes it's a redo of something else. So, like I said before, like how many times can we see a Transformer movie? Can we find a director that's going to give us something new and fresh? Because I think that's what
Mhm.
people are looking for. We're definitely looking for that. And I thought this was like such a fresh film, such a new look, even though, you could like, relate it back to Tomb Raider or Raiders of the Lost Ark or,
It's 100% copy of Indiana Jones.
yeah,
100%.
but it's up to date and it's done well, and the
It
characters
was
are
fun.
dope. And that's why
Yeah.
we both gave it a 9. So we are talking about
Mhm.
Fountain of Youth. This is an Apple TV original. Go check it out. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.